Good morning. Welcome to our first Hoffmann Group Live PPE and Vending webinar. My name is Dharmesh, and this is my colleague Hayley.
Hello.
We're both PPE specialists with a combined history of over 35 years in the PPE industry. I know to look at us, you'd never believe it.
Absolutely, and to think we've worked together for so many years, and that we still like each other.
Not sure about that, but
Okay.
Today we'll be discussing the everyday struggles of keeping your workforce safe and keeping your costs down.
We'll be talking to you about ways to manage your problems you're facing, the obstacles you're coming across on a daily basis, and ways to reduce your spend on PPE.
Please feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar in our chat box, and we'll answer these at the end of the presentation for you.
Also, stay tuned. We have an exciting special offer for anybody that is on the webinar today as a thank you for tuning in.
We'll now be discussing obstacles and problems you may be facing on a daily basis.
So some of the obstacles and problems you may be facing, such as is your business constantly running out of PPE in the workplace?
Are your employees hiding away PPE to make their lives easier?
Have your employees not got the correct PPE for the right application?
Have you got access to PPE 24/7? Does your stores close at a certain time, meaning that some employees do not have access when they need it?
Absolutely. Is production lower due to employers spending time collecting items that they need?
Have you currently got traceability on what is being taken and when?
Theft. We also know this happens in the workplace, and unfortunately it's not going away anytime soon.
Have you got hidden costs such as raising POs and putting stock away?
Let's look at these questions in more detail and see how vending can remove these obstacles and be the solutions you're looking for. So we spoke about constantly running out of PPE. Has your workplace got different shift patterns, like mornings, afternoons, night shifts? Do your stores close at a certain time? So the storeman goes home at 5 o'clock, he locks up the storeroom, and nobody has access to the PPE. And also another problem, Dharmesh, that we have found in the past is people take the last item of PPE and then nobody's reordered the new stock and nobody's got any idea when it's coming back in.
We will remove these obstacles by reordering the stock and replenishing the machines. Our dedicated site service coordinators will reorder your stock and replenish the stock in the machine on an agreed frequency, removing the issue of constantly running out of stock.
So we spoke about employees hiding away PPE. Employees will take pack quantities and keep them hidden just to make sure that they've got enough PPE. So if they've got a certain glove that they love, they'll squirrel that glove away just to make sure that they've got plenty of it. And these can be in large quantities as well.
They can be, and vending will help with this. It will be able to put restrictions in place. We'll be able to control the amount of PPE taken and the frequency it's taken. When an employee knows they're being monitored, mindsets often change within the workplace, and we find that usage is often lowered as a result of the implementation of the vending.
Are they not using the right PPE? And for yourself and I, this is a huge issue. So sometimes employees will have the mindset that this glove will do, that'll do for that job that I'm doing now, and not necessarily choose the correct item of PPE. This could immediately cause a claim if an accident were to happen on site.
No, totally agreed. So vending the right product for the correct application can be done by putting restrictions in place. This can be done by department or individual and can be broken down by certain areas. Limits can also be placed on how often items can be vended per day or per shift.
That's correct, absolutely. Have you got access to PPE 24/7? Is production stopped if somebody runs out of PPE and they have to remove from the line that they're on? Or if the employer hasn't got the correct PPE?
So vending also helps with this. Vending gives you access anytime, day or night. Doesn't even request to have holidays. Happily working on the weekend and doesn't have to be paid double time either as well.
Unlike some.
Yeah.
Lower production time due to time spent on collecting PPE. Sometimes collecting PPE from the stores is an ideal opportunity to go and have a chat with Fred and Paul on the way, especially at the moment when we're all watching Love Island. Yeah? Did you agree to say you were watching Love Island then? Or the football? It can also be seen as an ideal opportunity to leave the employee's workstation for time, a bit of unscheduled break.
Well, we work closely with our customers in centralising the location of the vending machine. We aim to remove the walk and wait times, increasing productivity for our customers.
Perfect. Traceability. Have you currently got traceability on what's being taken? If there was ever an incident on site and and you've got to look into the claim, we would need that audit trail, and signing a piece of paper is just not going to give you that information that you need.
Vending machine provides an instant audit trail on who took what and when and where. So if there was ever an incident on site, you have the information at hand to be able to access that, protecting both the employee and employer from future claims.
That is so important. We spoke about theft, and like we said, unfortunately, this is still happening in the workplace. We usually find when the weather's like this today and it's good, the roses need cutting in the garden.
Well, introducing vending does create accountability. So we know what's being taken by who, so that instantly changes a shift in culture within the workplace, knowing that there's controls in place.
Brilliant. Hidden costs. Some hidden costs we don't even think about. So constantly running out of PPE would have a hidden cost. This may include loss of productions and the issues that we've previously touched on. But another thing, if you're constantly raising POs for ad hoc orders, there's a huge cost in that.
There is, and we can help with that. Our dedicated team, our site service coordinators, will reorder your stock and replenish the machine on an agreed schedule, so you can remove that issue that you've just mentioned there.
Oh, that's brilliant. Something else that Dharmesh and myself, we come across quite a lot is the internal conflict between health and safety and finance.
So, I mean, what you said is quite right there. So do you find that there is a conflict between the finance and health and safety team when you're visiting?
Yeah, because
customers?
the health and safety team, they want the right glove for the right application. But then obviously there's the issue with finance that they're not always prepared to pay for that, that product.
And there's always a daily battle between the finance department and health and safety department, one aiming, as you said, to save money, and one keeping their workforce safe to be able to go home. So vending can help with that solution.
We all want to make sure that you know, the workforce is safe and they go home safely to their families at the end of the day, don't we? Which is the most important thing.
Yeah. So by implementing vending, we have examples of customers who on average save between 15 to 40% on their PPE spend. So helping both groups of people achieve their targets.
Absolutely, and I think we've both got examples of, you know, where we can showcase this to everybody that you know, we have shown those cost savings. What we're going to do now is show you a quick video of some of the vending solutions available.
Welcome back to everyone. So I'd like to introduce you to Mike Warwick, who's our vending specialist. I would like to give you a very basic overview on how to use our machine, because some people may not have seen them in action, and Mike will be able to demonstrate how to very quickly take out a product and show you how that process works. So welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first thing you do at the vending machine is you'll come and log in. Here we have a fingerprint reader set up, so I just put my finger on and it logs you in straight away. You can then browse the products that you've got in the vending machine, so you can see we've not just got PPE in here, we've got all sorts of tooling and fastening tools as well. But for today, we will just pick protective workwear as a category. Once you pick that category, you can break it down however you want. Here we've got ear protection, eye protection, hand protection, respiratory equipment. So I'm going to select hand protection for today. And then you get to see a list of all the gloves and arm resistant bands that are in there as well. And you can see the stock levels as well. So I'm going to see, I want this pair of Garant size 9 cut B gloves. I can see that's 3 out of 3 in stock.
Thank you.
So I can just click that I want to take one out. The vending machine asks me how many I want. And today I just want 1 pair. So I'm going to click OK. The machine will spin round and the door pops open for us. And the machine knows where the items are. It's given me the pair of gloves that I asked for. I just close the door and walk away with my gloves, and it's already booked it out of stock against my name because I had to log in with my finger. So you've got that report instantly shown on the vending machine, and the stock levels instantly updated so that we know that a pair have been taken.
Wow, very simple, very easy to use and very quick and efficient. Both myself and H have listed a few commonly asked questions that we come across. So just to answer these for us, that'd be really helpful. So how do I log in? Can I use a fob reader or RFID card to log into the machine?
Yeah, so we saw today that we did a fingerprint reader, which is just one of our options. You can also just do a username and password and type it on the screen if you don't want anything too complicated, or we can do a fob RFID as well. So what we usually say is we ask for an example card to be sent over to Hoffmann, and we would just test it with our readers, configure it, make sure it works with the vending machine reader, and then we just put it here on the vending machine instead of the fingerprint reader, and you come up with your fob, scan your fob, and it'll log you in the same as the fingerprint reader. And then you'll be in, take your gloves, easy as that.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Perfect. How does the machine connect to the internet, Mike?
So there's a couple of options. Again, it depends on what the customer wants. We can just plug an Ethernet cable in at the back and plug it onto the customer network, and then you can control it with all the other PCs on your company network. Or if you don't want it on your network and there might be a security issue having a third-party machine on there, we can put a mobile SIM card inside instead. So it'll just connect to the mobile internet, and it's completely independent of your customer network, but it still is connected to the internet, still does the reordering.
Right.
We can still see all the reports and information from it, and it can still email out reports to you.
Fantastic. Can I vend other products such as large items like footwear, for example?
Yeah, so this is just one of our machines. It's our carousel option, which is a large rotating drum, but we can add on as many different cabinets. We've got locker cabinets, we've got conveyor cabinets that are designed for larger items. So if you want larger items physically on site, we can add on slave units and have more machines all next to each other, and they will vend the larger items.
Right.
Or for footwear specifically, quite often customers don't want the footwear on site, but they want to be able to order footwear through the vending machine.
Right.
So we can update the software to have sort of, it's a dummy cabinet on the side, so we can have a list of all the footwear and sizes on the machine.
Okay.
They'll all show 0 in stock, and the customer comes up and says, I want this style in size 9, and instead of it actually opening a door, it will just send an email to Hoffmann or to the customer if they need to approve it, and say this person on this day has tried to take a pair of shoes.
Right.
Once it's approved, the shoes just get directly delivered to site.
Fantastic, that's perfect. Can we restrict usage for certain employees, because we find that different areas within certain facilities restrict certain products? So for example, knives might not be readily available to everyone. So is that something that you can do on the machine?
Yeah, it's a common problem that everyone, quite a lot of customers we have that use it, and all our machines can restrict users. So yeah, you can either restrict by department. So sometimes assembly will need certain gloves, machining will need different gloves with higher cut resistance, and then like you say, the warehouse might need access to knives.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want people who are in assembly using knives if they don't need it for their day-to-day job. So we can either restrict by department, or we can set up individual user restrictions. So if you just wanted one specific person not to have access to knives, you could do it by individual user. So it's, again, completely up to you if you do it by department or by individual users.
Brilliant. And we often get asked about how many products can fit into the machine. Appreciate we've got different machines, but is there some sort of number or some sort of idea we can give to our viewers or customers?
Yeah, so our smallest machine is about 300 compartments, depending what you want to put in them. But we have our biggest machine goes up to 1,000 compartments. So if you had 1,000 small items that you want to put in one of these carousels, we could go up to 1,000.
Okay.
But we can also add on slave units, so we could have 2 or 3 carousels all next to each other. And obviously, if you have 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, it's basically unlimited, depending on what products you want to vend, how many you use a day. If you've got a huge workforce and go through hundreds of pairs of gloves a day, we can go any number of compartments really.
Fantastic. Now, who fills the machine, Mike, for our customers?
Yeah, so Hoffmann can fill the machines. We've got a vending filling service, and we've got a team of fillers who come around all the sites in the UK and fill them up. If the customers prefer that, we bring the stock, we fill the machines up, we reorder the stock as well when we see it's low, or we can send stock direct and the customer can fill it themselves.
And how often would we fill the machine then?
Our fillers, we aim for fortnightly fills as standard, but we are pretty flexible and we can do weekly. We have some customers that we do weekly because they've got high usage, so we have to go every week. And we have some customers who are quite low usage, and we go once a month, and they're okay with that. So it's quite flexible. It depends what the customer wants. If some people want to fill it themselves, some people want to have someone on site every week. So we're flexible for whatever's needed.
Perfect, thank you. And size or space is always an issue when I go to visit customers, because they'd like one, but they have restrictions on where we can put them. What's the sort of footprint that the machine takes to give our viewers an understanding of what that looks like?
Yeah, so this machine is about 1 meter by 1 meter square, and that's about standards. We have different machines, and they have varying by a few hundred mil. But roughly, as a rough estimate, one machine is about 1 meter by 1 meter. If we were going to put a bank of 2 or 3 different machines, then obviously it would be 1 meter deep by 3 meters wide if you have 3 machines. As a rough estimate.
So they're not too big then in the space that they're taking.
Yeah, we can usually find some floor space for it if things aren't too tight.
Perfect, thank you. And finally, the last question, Mike, is can we return items that have been vended incorrectly? So, for example, the gloves that you took there, if, for example, you took the wrong size, could you put them back into the machine?
Usually we wouldn't allow normal users to put them back in just for sort of safety and security reasons, but we can allow it if the site deems that that's what they want to be able to happen. Usually we would set up a supervisor, a team leader, or an admin user who has access to put things back in themselves. So usually the person who took out the gloves would have to go to their team leader and say, I took the wrong size, sorry. Can you put it back in for me and I'll get the right size back out. But if we set up an admin user, they have access to put the gloves back in. They would have access to update the users, add new users. If they've got someone starting or someone leaving, they can remove the old ones, add new users on. Update a fob. I know people lose the fobs quite often. So if you have to update the fob, the admin user can come in and update that user's fob so that they can log in with the new one.
Perfect.
So yeah, we can do whatever the customer needs really.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mike. So thank you all. I'd like to pass you back to H. Thank you.
Thanks, Dharmesh. And thank you to all of you. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the content of our first ever webinar. As another thank you, we'd like to offer you the opportunity of a free, no obligation 3 months trial on the vending machines. To take advantage of this amazing offer, details now will be on your screen with all the contact details you will need. Right, let's answer the questions that have come through. Can we add items such as footwear? I know that you and Mike spoke about this downstairs. Yes, we can. We can add it to the software. We've got a couple of customers that are currently, they have the different styles added to the software on their vending machines. The employees just come up to the vending machine and choose which styles they would like. This automatically sends an email to their procurement, which gets authorised, and then it's sent straight through to us as well.
Okay. Can we add or remove employee details, or how do we do this?
We can ask Mike to train the individuals and show them how this can be done. Mike can do this information for you, but a lot of companies prefer to do it themselves.
Right.
You know, you might have busy periods where there's a lot of temps on site, so you need to add people and take them away. So it's a lot easier if you can do that yourselves. But again, if you choose not to do that, we can do that for you. It's not a problem.
Excellent. Where is my PPE stock for vending machines held?
We keep all stock for the vending machines here in Birmingham. And we do that because sometimes we find that customers have a shutdown and they have a really good tidy up or something like that. So they use a lot more PPE than they would do normally throughout the year. So we've got that backup stock here in Birmingham for you.
Perfect. We've had another question come in. Have we got storage for the PPE for each person within the actual lockers as such, or?
What we would do, that would come under the restrictions part of it.
Right.
So what we would do, we'd restrict the items of certain PPE that the person could take. For example, there might be on site an application where you need a cut level 5 glove or a cut level F glove, or just a general purpose glove.
Yep.
By having an individual person's name against that glove, it makes sure that they're using the correct PPE for the correct location.
Thank you. Is it only Hoffmann Group catalogue products we can put into the machine?
It is 90% of what goes into the vending machine normally comes out of the catalogue, but there is always that 10% of items that we haven't got in the catalogue, but we locally source that for you, and again we hold it in our Birmingham warehouse.
Perfect, lovely. So thank you again for joining our webinar today. We're happy to help and answer any questions you may have. Both myself and Hayley happy to visit, so please get in touch if there's anything more we can do to help you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.